So, Season 1 hasn't even ended yet, and we're already getting a lot of details about Season 2. What's up, guys? Dimebot here, and here to talk about the video that Geoff Kaplan released yesterday, talking about how they felt about Season 1 and a lot of changes coming to competitive Season 2 in Overwatch. So, first up on the chopping block is actually the old skill rating system. Kaplan had a lot to say about it, but the big takeaways are that they felt like the scale of 1 to 100 was kind of wrong because people found themselves going up or down a fraction and with no real clear indicating why. He wanted to say that 60 skill rating is actually an amazing player, so somebody with a skill rating of 60 is actually in the top 6%, but players didn't really feel like it. So what they're doing is they're going to make the scale a bit different in Season 2. It's going to go from 1 to 5,000. You're going to progress in whole numbers going up or down. There's going to be no more fractions. And there's a number of reasons for this. So they're trying to take away focus from the skill ratings. So they don't want people to say, oh, well, I'm a rank 50 player, but I lost a match, so I guess now I'm a rank 50 or 49 or 48 player. They kind of want it to be a gauge of how you're performing, but they don't want it to be what you associate with you as a competitive player. Instead, what they've done is created 7 different tiers. They've got Bronze, Silver, Gold, Diamond, Master, and Grandmaster. And these tiers are going to cover about 500 skill ratings apiece right now. So he gave the example of Gold is going to go from 2,000 to 2,499. And they want people to say, oh, I'm a Gold tier player. Now, in addition to this, once you reach a certain tier, you're not going to be able to drop out. So if you're Grandmaster, Master, or Diamond, you're not going to be able to drop out of that tier. You will at least remain in that tier, even if your skill rating goes below that threshold. So this is tied towards season rewards, but it's also kind of to make it feel better for players. And end-of-season rewards are going to be based on the highest tier that you've reached. Now, speaking of rewards, they've changed the way that works. We'll get to that in a minute, but keep in mind right now that they have changed the competition points. So you get more. They have been multiplied by 10. Any that you have banked right now will be multiplied by 10, but they've also upped golden gun skin costs by 10. Now, there's reasons for all this. It's not just them arbitrarily upping the numbers. So I think this is kind of a good thing. Competitive play, it was really hard to tell why you were being rated the way you were. I would still like to see a little more transparency, see if the system actually helps out support players, because I still kind of feel like, a really good Lucia or something, you don't get as much rank because you're not getting the kills, and the system seems to prioritize kills, but we'll see what they do with that. Now, a couple changes that are really going to excite people. The coin toss is going away. Players hated it, and looking at the feedback, Blizzard said that had been made quite clear, and they didn't like coin toss. So basically, sudden death is just going away. Control maps aren't going to change, so there's always going to be a winner there. Those are the best out of 5, so those aren't going to change. Let's jump over to Assault. So let's say Hanamura or Volskaya. Now, they're going to stay on the time bank system with some tweaks. So after the initial first round capture of point A, you're always going to be given a bonus 30 seconds. That's there, Kaplan said, to kind of alleviate those really awkward times where a map or a point is captured in overtime and then the map ends without you having a shot at the second point. Now, 30 seconds is not a lot of time, but he did say, based on some of the times that have been posted, a hyper-aggressive team could probably do it, and they are tuning capture times based on what they've seen out of the players to make it more aggressive. Now, on the flip side of that, you're not going to get that bonus 2 minutes you used to get if you finished. If you were under 2 minutes, you got an actual 2 minutes to start the next round. You're actually only going to get 1 minute, so they're kind of doing away with that. This is all kind of keeping in that whole aggression theme. Now, they're trying to make bonus time as fair as possible, so that actually means that if one team gets time because they didn't finish in the other team, the other team's also going to get some time. They're just trying to make it a little bit more fair. So the time bank system is still here in Assault. They're just tweaking it a little bit. I'm sure that they're not going to be adverse to tweaking it down the line. If we've seen one thing, it's that Blizzard really, really is on top of the balance changes with this game. They're not afraid to experiment. Now, Nimbani and King's Row, plus the full payload maps, they're also getting the time bank system. So if you push the payload to the end and you have 3 minutes, you're going to be able to see how far you can push in another round. So they're trying to make ties really, really rare here. They're saying ties should only happen if neither team ever pushes the cart, or if you're on a hybrid map like Nimbani or King's Row, if nobody takes the first point, which is going to be pretty rare. It is going to be able to end in ties occasionally, but they're actually putting in a system for that, because while they said that they felt that ties aren't really that satisfying, they thought sudden death was even less satisfying, and I think that's completely justifiable. So what they're doing is they're multiplying the competitive points. This is what that is for, so that if there is a tie, they can give both teams some points. So it's not going to be a full 10, but you'll still get something for those matches. I've been on a lot of stalled out payloads, been really frustrated with some of the situations. I think Nimbani is a really good case in point for getting rid of the coin toss, because if you got placed on defend on Nimbani, it was just over in sudden death. So having the time bank system in payload and hybrid, which is something everybody's really been asking for and wanted, I think that's going to make competitive play a lot more fun. It's going to take a lot of the frustration out. And if you do end up with a tie, at least you know you're going to get something for that 20-25 minute match. Now, there's a couple other changes. They've also added some changes to grouping. So they had a lot of concerns about players with really different skill ratings, like somebody with skill rating 40 grouping up with somebody as skill rating 70 was an example they gave. They're going to tighten that up. So when they go live on the public test realm on the PTR, you'll only be able to group with somebody if you're within 500 skill rating. They're going to loosen it up if they find out that it's too aggressive, but what they're basically trying to do is keep the games fair. They're trying to balance that desire to play with friends versus actually keeping the competition balanced, is what they said. So, basically you're going to have to stay within shouting range of your really good friends, I guess. I like this. I've been in some matches where there's been obvious parties on the other side, and there's been, a couple 40s, and then some people that are really low tier. I'm not high tier myself, but some people that were on my level, and then some people that just were not, and you could tell that it's kind of frustrating for everybody involved. So that, I think, will be an interesting change to keep an eye on. I imagine it'll be getting changed. 500 seems a little narrow. We haven't seen the new skill rating system in its entirety yet, so that's just kind of speculation on my part, but seems like that'll probably get changed. Now, for those of you that are in the top percent, skill rating decay is being added for Diamond, Master, and Grandmaster. So they want you to keep playing. They don't want you to just coast, get into a high tier, and then just coast the rest of the season. So if you don't play a competitive match for 7 days, you'll lose 50 skill rating every 24 hours. Now, it has a floor. You can't drop out of Diamond, but you can go all the way to the bottom of Diamond. And like I said, this is to encourage the top players to continue playing and to basically earn their spots. They want the top players to be active. Also, there's a little bit of change coming to the top 500 players. You have to have 50 matches. Kaplan said that this is so that they don't have a top 500 player who basically just got really lucky with their placement matches and got into the top 500. Now, there's a lot more changes that are actually coming out. All that stuff's going to be in the patch notes. Once I get to look at them and can kind of digest all the information, I'll be sure to put out a video with anything else. But the big change is competitive is getting a huge overhaul. It's a lot of changes that we requested, and I really think from looking at that Blizzard has listened to our feedback. They really want to make the game better, and I think this is going to make it better. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That does it for me. I'm going to go, let's see, competitive ends pretty soon. I'm going to go see if I can bump up my rank a couple more times. Alright guys, thanks for watching.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you check out some of these other videos from Sanitarium.FM and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. The information is right below that big shiny subscribe button.